So in 4th grade, I moved to a new school. And it's a pretty nice school. I'm friends with some people, whatever. Well, we have a substitute coming on a Friday. And on Fridays, everybody gets popcorn at our school. So we're all in class eating our popcorn when the substitute comes up to this girl we'll call Taylor. So the substitute kind of just stands over her and watches her eat her popcorn. And then she goes, "You shouldn't eat that, you're a pig." And dude, she started crying. So she gets up to the front of the classroom and she's like talking about how much we should be eating, practically body shaming a bunch of 4th graders. And she keeps going up to this girl Taylor and just freaking like calling her a pig, calling her nasty, like literally coming for her. And then I think she dropped some on the floor and like, dude, the teacher went off on her. Eventually she got so mad she grabbed a desk and flipped it over. So Taylor was obviously crying for the rest of the day because this teacher was literally body shaming her. So the following Monday when the teacher comes back, we all tell her what happened. And that sub got fired like that.
We put our teacher in the hospital. Story time. My 6th grade class was so freaking bad, you guys. I mean, I wasn't, but the rest of the kids were horrible. Our classroom was located on the 2nd floor, so sometimes kids would throw things out the window and try to hit the kids on the ground. And normally it would just be things like pencils or crumbled up pieces of paper, nothing that could really hurt anybody, right? But one day while we were taking a test, my teacher had realized she forgot something in her car, so she left us in the classroom by ourselves. And some kids in my class thought it would be perfect to use this opportunity to cheat. So there was one kid in my class, and we're gonna name him Chris, but he decided to be a lookout, so he stood near the window to keep an eye out for the teacher. Well, when he saw her coming, the rest of the kids weren't done cheating yet, so they told him to cause a distraction. So he runs over to his desk, grabs the biggest textbook he can find, and throws it out the window at the teacher. The book hits her in the face, and it busted her bottom lip open. It was so bad that the school had to send her to the hospital.
Okay, since you guys asked for it, this is the time that I got dress coded at my little brother's high school when I wasn't a student. And the teacher was very rude to me. So my little brother called me saying, "Hey, I'm not feeling well, can you come pick me up from school?" And I was like, okay, of course, like a good sister, I went to go pick him up. Then I went to the front office and I checked him out and they're like, "Hey, just go get him from his classroom and you guys can just leave." So I was like, okay. So I start heading down the hallway and I realize I actually don't know where his class is. I start calling my brother like, hey, where are you? Where's your class? Like, I'm here. And he's not picking up. From behind me, I hear someone yell, hey, you, over there. So I turn around and he tells me, "Hey, where are you supposed to be, young lady?" And before I can even tell him that I'm here to pick someone up, he tells me, "Hey, I'm gonna have to dress code you. What you're wearing is very inappropriate." And then he kind of starts ranting about what I'm wearing is very distracting and that I wouldn't want to interfere with someone's education. Then he starts telling me, he's like, "You don't want any unwanted attention, huh?" He's also telling me some other stuff that I don't remember, but I cut him off right there and then I look him dead in the eye and I tell him, "I'm here to pick up my child." His jaw just dropped.
We literally had that one kid in primary school who would literally ruin everything for the class. Like, say if the teacher was doing that 1 minute in silence thing because we were talking too much in the lesson, and then we'd lose like a minute of our break time. But if someone as such as made a sound, then like we'd have to start all over again, like blah 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 blah. There would always be that one kid who thought he was an actual comedian because he kept on making bloody gorilla noises in the 1 minute of silence, and then we'd have to keep on starting the time all over and all over again, and this dude just wouldn't stop. And he was not even funny. He sounded like a bloody demented goose. Like, are you okay? And then we'd get onto the playground, and then there'd be these group of boys who were like hella mad, and they were like, "Oh my god, you lost 5 minutes on our break time, like fight me." And then there'd be year 6 beef, and then we'd have that depressing talk with the teacher about how, "Oh my god, you're the top of the year, like we like look up to you, like you should be better than this."
Throughout elementary school, I would always be that kid who'd be picked up last by their parents. It could be freezing cold and my mom would show up 2 hours later. My teacher already knew this routine, so 30 minutes after school, she'd make me wait in the office. And there was always crazy stuff going on in the office. It'd either be a kid, a parent, or a staff member yelling in the office, sometimes all at the same time. This one time, I was sitting in the office next to the worst kid in our grade. You know, the one who would always get in trouble? Let's call him Jose. Apparently, he was in a big fight, and they were waiting for the other kid to come with his parents. However, the secretary lady thought the fight was between me and Jose. "So where are your parents?" she asked me. "Oh, my mom won't be here in a while." "Oh, really?" "Yeah, I'm always here though. I'm a regular." Well, look at you, all smart. Always that snap. Lo and behold, my mom walks in, and the secretary starts snitching. Like, she pulls a 6'9". Ma'am, your son was in a big fight with this other kid, and we're here to figure out their punishments." And my mom was furious. There's more, like for part 2. So this staff lady tells my mom that I was in a quote-unquote fight, and my mom began to yell at me in the office. Mijo, ¿por qué estabas peleando con este niño? I wasn't, I tell her. And Jose, who was actually in the fight, was all like, ooh. So I tell Jose, dude, it wasn't between us. Please tell her. Yeah, it actually wasn't. Whatever. At the end, she calms down. On the ride home, though, my mom is asking me questions as if I was actually in the fight. So if he punched you, would you have punched him back? Conteste! I'm sure, yeah, I would. And when I said I would, my mom summoned her chancla. ¿Qué dijiste? So now I'm in trouble for an imaginary fight. And I'm trying to unsummon her chancla. I'm like, no, never mind. You know I don't condone violence. I know, I'm sorry. I'll do the dishes when we get home. Always hit her with the chores. She finally calms down and puts the chancla away for next time. Ooh, that was the last time I was ever back in the office. I'd just rather wait in the cold after that. By the way, thank you guys so much for all the recent love. I wanted to make this story just one video, but it was way too long. And I did not think part 1 was gonna blow up that quickly. So thanks for your patience.
So my teacher tried to fail me. So basically it was the last week of the semester and grades were due at the end of the week. So I checked my power school to see my grades and I noticed I have a D in this class. So I checked to see which assignments I failed and it says I never took my final exam and I never took a chapter test. Which is not true because I have no missing assignments. I do all of my work. But he gave me a 0 for both of them. So the next day in class, I joined his Google Meet. So I unmute myself and I'm like, Mr. Man, can you open the test so I can either retake it or see if like you just messed up my grade? As soon as I said this, he turned off his camera and his microphone. And he ignored me. So at this point, I was like, time to take things into my own hands because I know I did not get a 0 on both of these assignments. So I worked my magic and I ended up finding out what my real test scores were. I got a 97 on both of them, but he gave me a 0. So I sent him screenshots of the score I really got, threatened to tell the principal, and my grade changed like that.
Story time about this girl who faked being Latina. So there was this girl who went to my school, let's call her Sarah. Sarah is the queen of lies. In every subject we talk about, Sarah always, and I mean always, comes up with a lie that has to do with her life. Here's an example. What if we're talking about Tom Holland? She'd just come in and say, oh yeah, Tom Holland is my dad's friend. I met him once. You know, these types of lies. Another one is when she told everyone she's Latina. It was lunchtime in school and we were talking about where we went for the summer. Sarah tells us that she went to Spain and she started telling us on what she did there and says that she's 50% Latina. She also said that she lived in Spain for 6 years. And if there is any person who lived in Spain for 6 years, they must know how to speak Spanish. And then my friend Kayla asked Sarah, what does good morning mean in Spanish? And then Sarah looks at us, looks back at her food and said, I don't know, I'm still taking Spanish lessons. And we just look at her that she doesn't even know what good morning means in Spanish. If she had lived in Spain for 6 years, she would have known what it meant. I don't know how, but that incident has spread around the entire school. Every person that walks past Sarah just says, Buenos dias, basically teasing her about not knowing what good morning means in Spanish. And then Sarah didn't show up to school for 3 days after that. And oh boy, we haven't even gotten to the crazy part. The 3 days pass and Sarah comes back to school. As soon as she walks into the class, everyone's eyes was on her. She came up, sat in her seat, and this lady showed up in a crop top, skinny jeans, fake nails, and fake lashes. And her hair was in a bun with edges. Yes, you heard me, edges. This lady is white. And in lunchtime, she took out a bag of hot Cheetos and some dipping sauce. I don't know if this was supposed to make us think she's Latina, but trust me, it didn't work. All of the freshmen and sophomores took out their phone and started filming her. This is where I kind of felt bad, but she ran to the bathroom crying, and she just stayed there and didn't show up to any classes for the rest of the day.
Okay, so we're doing a story time because I found this tiny microphone. Yeah. So this is an embarrassing school story time. Sean, if you're watching this, no, you're not. Okay, so anyways, it was at recess and my crush at the time, Sean. Hey, Sean, what's good? Sean loves soccer, and I thought it would be such a good idea to go cheer for Sean on the side of the soccer field because I was really good at gymnastics. I could cartwheel, I could front walk over. Me and the squad, we would always do gymnastics at lunch. Like, anyway, I go over to the soccer field and I start like doing handstands, and I'm like, yo, Sean, like, look at me do a cartwheel. And Sean accidentally kicks the soccer ball in my face. And then the lunch ladies had to come over and like literally carry me inside. The lunch ladies, yeah, like literally. And everybody was watching.